Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. This time, X-Force's most lethal member, Fantomex, origin explored. Marvel spoils us so with so many characters to love and hate. Our heroes are superlative with quirky pasts and turbulent present. They're endearing and unnerving, with every single character beckoning us to enter their world. Hello to all our comic book fans, especially the Marvel ones. Welcome back to another epic, informative session with marvelous videos. For today's video, we have for you the origin of the most lethal superhero that appears in the American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Now that we have your attention, let me also tell you that this character is usually associated with the X-Men titles. Although even considering the X-Men team, this character has his own coolness and charm. He first appeared in New X-Men issue number 128 in 2002. Created by Morrison and Igor Kordey, Fantomex is a character somewhat based on the central character from the Italian comic book Diabolik and its film adaptation Danger, Diabolik. He's also quite similar to Fantomas, which is the character that Diabolik was partly based on. Fantomas is actually the subject of a story arc of the early 20th century French detective thrillers and a popular Mexican comic book adaptation, whose name is reflected through Fantomex's own name. Besides that, his Weapon X title, Weapon XIII, is a term that refers to the main character, who is a secret agent in the Franco-Belgian comic XIII. In July 2013, Marvel announced Fantomex Max, which is the character's first solo series. It's written by Andrew Hope with the illustration of Sean Crystal. However, the series is not set in the current Marvel continuity, and the character is not related to any other Marvel character. In this series, the character of Fantomex has a much more vivid interpretation of the Diabolik character, with a storyline that is less affected by conventional superhero plots and more influenced by theories of mystery and adventure like James Bond. Let us now delve deeper into his backstory and discover the point of his origin in the Marvel and X-Men universes. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Charlie Cluster, aka Fantomex. Fantomex, also known as Weapon XIII, was created as a result of the Weapon Plus program's research into technological human hybrids. His artificial existence was developed in Weapon Plus, which is a man-made environment created with Sentinel technology in order to develop super soldiers. And while his real identity stayed unclear, he did go by the name of Jean-Philippe, and his experiment identification at the World Facility was Charlie Cluster 7. The origins of the Weapon Plus program can be traced back to 1945 when Truett Hudson, a civilian advisor to the United States Army known as Professor Thornton, found out Dr. Nathaniel Essex's secret research lab was just underneath a liberated concentration camp. So Thornton founded Weapon Plus, a program developed for creating super soldiers by the US Army's Project Rebirth that also gave life to our all-time favorite hero, Captain America, also called the Weapon I. Now, this is where we eventually get the Weapon X program from. This program is responsible for conducting the experiment that successfully created the adamantium bonding process on the mutant Logan. He did, however, escape the Weapon X facility later on. Weapon Plus also built a high-tech research facility called The World, which is based in the United Kingdom and can reshape time to create and develop an entirely advanced civilization exclusively for the production of super soldiers. This is where they created Weapon XIII. Now, due to the heavy French accent of Fantomex, and also the fact that his villa is very close to Paris, it was initially assumed that Fantomex was French. He did, however, clarify that he was not French, but instead just spoke with a French accent, since that irritated and disturbed other people when they spoke to him, but mostly because he also liked that accent. So it would appear that he is someone who can probably handle covering his tracks. Now probably begins the web of lies that Fantomex is going to spread. In order to flee from the authorities, Fantomex took shelter at the X Corporation in Paris. Later on, he declared that he was a mutant thief with an ill-defined power of misdirection and superhuman intellect. He was in a pretty bad condition due to bullet wounds, so he requested permission to stay with Professor X. Fantomex then informed Professor X and Jean Grey that he was being pursued by the authorities as he's one of Europe's most wanted thieves. A piece of information like this does raise a bit of suspicion, but neither Professor X nor Jean Grey were able to use their telepathic powers to confirm his statements. This happened due to his ceramic mask, which is a device that blocked their mental queries. Fantomex later on used EVA to transport Professor X and Jean Grey to his home in France. You'll find more information about the EVA later in the video. So, Fantomex decided to introduce them to his mother. He even told the pair that while being in the channel, he had confiscated confidential material about the Weapon Plus project and presented it to Professor Xavier for $1 billion. He then asked Professor X and Jean Grey to assist him back to the channel to bring down Weapon XII. After the three of them leave, it becomes pretty clear that both the house and the woman were a part of an elaborate ploy cooked up by Fantomex to cover up his true origin. Fantomex starts telling Professor Xavier and Jean Grey about the Weapon Plus program, which also includes the Weapon X program. Until now, it was assumed that the program that developed Wolverine was known as Weapon X. Fantomex threw some light on this matter and explained that it wasn't an X, but rather the Roman numeral for 10. It means that Wolverine was not the only one they created as a living weapon, but rather it was the program's 10th generation of living weapons. He then informed them of the Huntsman, who was Weapon 12. Huntsman possessed a bacterial mind that supposedly enabled him to merge with any living being whom he touched and turned them into an extension of his body. When the three reached the channel, they found out that Weapon 12 had managed to transform people and animals into mindless slaves. Fantomex then had to kill Darkstar and any other person who had been mentally linked to the creature. There was no coming back from what Weapon 12 had done to them. So, Fantomex used a remote detonator to destroy Weapon 12. After that, he discovered 2 empty Weapon Plus transport tubes in the channel. One of them had been used to contain the brutal Weapon 12 and another one which carried something called Weapon 13. Due to the effects of the battle, Fantomex's ceramic mask had a bit of an opening at the back, which allowed Jean Grey to use her telepathy to figure out who he was. It turns out Fantomex was actually Weapon 13, and he had fled during the incident that occurred in the channel, after which he reached the X Corporation building. He admitted to Jean that he was not the master thief as he had said before, but that he was now determined to achieve that reputation. He promised Jean that he would not be someone else's soldier. After that, she let Fantomex slip into the channel before the authorities came. Like many other Marvel superheroes, even our mutant hero Fantomex has a lot more stories to tell us. Let's find out what else happened to him. Fantomex's various story arcs. Now, later into the story, Fantomex takes the help of Wolverine to destroy the last creation of Weapon Plus, which is Weapon 15. So, along with Cyclops, they go to the world, but unfortunately are beaten by Ultimatum, also known as Weapon 15. After recovering, they chased Ultimatum all the way to the Weapon Plus space station, where Wolverine activated the space station's self-destruct mechanism before killing Ultimatum. Scott and Fantomex flee before the space station bursts into flames. Fantomex then assists the X-Men in their fight against Zorn and his newly formed Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. After that, Fantomex hunted down John Sublime, the director of the Weapon Plus project, but upon reaching his grave, he found nothing except a message that said Roanoke. He went to Roanoke with Wolverine and Agent Zero to find out the answers, but then they are attacked by Sublime's men, and Fantomex gets shot and is believed to be dead. However, he soon comes back and helps Mystique in her fight against Quiet Man. The next story arc is about Fantomex's plan to destroy a team of Norman Osborn's robotically resurrected corpses when he meets Wolverine and Nova. Wolverine's mind was taken over by a robotic entity posing as God, which was actually created by Osborn. Now, because neither Fantomex nor Nova believed in a higher power, they were unaffected. Fantomex managed to keep the corpses and Wolverine at bay long enough so that Nova could approach the entity. Turns out that kissing the entity was indeed the only way to calm it down, as it was imitating a female's hormonal changes. Nova eventually agreed to do it, and the danger no longer existed. Fantomex then went away. Fantomex runs into the X-Men once again after a group of Predator X's are brought in to murder them. A group of humans with mutant abilities were controlling the Predator X's. This group was led by Loeb, who planned to utilize the creatures as spies to research mutants in order to improve all humans to their level. He knew all there was to know about the X-Men, but did not know about Fantomex, giving Fantomex an advantage. EVA succeeded in disabling Loeb's database systems, which contained all of his obtained mutant knowledge. Fantomex then joined X-Force, and during their mission to kill Apocalypse, he discovered the location of Apocalypse on the blue side of the moon. Along with the X-Men, he lifts off in the EVA. They are ambushed by War upon arrival, who damages EVA's brain, and they crash onto the moon. Wolverine then tries to keep War occupied long enough for Fantomex to blast him with a grenade, after which they and the rest of the Horsemen are sadly defeated by death. Due to Wolverine's quick healing ability, he's able to take them on as Psylocke helps Fantomex recover by shutting down his pain receptors. Fantomex and Wolverine now make their way towards the Apocalypse and are joined by Archangel and Deadpool. They break into Apocalypse's chamber and discover that he is just a child. Archangel takes charge and rushes towards the kid. Warren is eventually unable to murder the child. The group is now considering sparing the life of the kid, but just then Fantomex shoots a bullet between his eyes and kills him. Later on, Deathlock's army assaults Fantomex, murders his mother and steals the miniature world, where Fantomex was researching an experiment that he felt would help save the world. It was eventually found that this experiment was actually another apocalypse that Fantomex was creating in his facility in the world called Genesis. Now, as a result of murdering Apocalypse, X-Force member Archangel started to transform into the new Apocalypse as a result of the Succession Protocol, which was put in place to make sure that after Apocalypse's death, one of his Horsemen of Death would have to succeed him. Along with Dark Beast, X-Force traveled all the way to the Age of Apocalypse, an alternate dimension, in search of a celestial life seed that could be used to stop the transformation that Archangel was going through. Through the help of the X-Men of that universe, they were able to obtain a life seed. When they arrived on their home planet, they discovered that they had been deceived by Archangel. It turned out that he had already finished his transformation and only needed the life seed in an attempt to recreate the world. So, in order to stop Archangel and recover the world that he had taken, Fantomex had to retreat so that he could bring the A of A X-Men as a backup. Fantomex then also had to reveal his ultimate secret weapon, the clone of Apocalypse, so that he could use it to buy them enough time to beat Archangel. After the events of the Dark Angel saga, Fantomex was captured by the Captain Britain Corps and sent to the Otherworld to face trial for the murder of the child Apocalypse. Fantomex has to be put on trial because he's an omniversal anomaly. There are no other versions of Fantomex in the whole Marvel multiverse. Psylocke then comes to the rescue and utilizes the incredible strength from her stolen Captain Britain outfit to take Fantomex away. In order to carry out his sentence, they injected him with the anti-reality serum. To prevent the serum from entirely destroying him, Psylocke takes him to the Forest of Sorrows, where she strikes up a deal for his life. Fantomex then tells Logan that he has decided to leave the X-Force and go to Paris. There, he is visited by Psylocke, but he soon realizes that this is not Psylocke. In fact, it is Mystique in disguise. Mystique ends up poisoning Fantomex with a toxin that entirely disables his abilities. Shadow King, on the other side, was mind-controlling Psylocke. In order to save her, Fantomex pulls off his mask, which has his mind shields, and hands it to Psylocke, releasing her from the grip of the Shadow King. But this left him exposed, and he was killed by the Brotherhood. The X-Force heads to the White Sky facility, where they discover that EVA has somehow managed to bring Fantomex back to life. But there was a mistake in this process because, as it turns out, all three of his brains now have a separate clone body of their own. After this, Fantomex, along with Psylocke, goes back home to meet his mother. A few months later, Fantomex joins a new incarnation of the Uncanny X-Force, which is led by X-Woman Storm. The main motive of the group was to find the Bishop, which they did. They also completed several missions together before meeting Cable's new X-Force team, which is an entirely different team. Both teams then joined forces to create the new X-Force group, which included Fantomex. During his time with the new X-Force squad, which included Cable, Marrow, Dr. Nemesis, and Psylocke, it slowly became evident that Fantomex was turning mad. He started plotting against the whole team because he was obsessed with being the greatest. When the group defeated a guy called the Vulgar, he had invented a superhuman enhancement. Fantomex decided to take it for himself, which in turn made him even stronger. He began fighting his own teammates ruthlessly. Eventually, Cable's adopted daughter Hope was able to free Fantomex from the enhancement, and Psylocke stabbed his brains with a psychic knife, knocking him out. He was then chained and put away, but it is believed that he made a quick recovery and also got his head back on course. After the collapse of X-Force and the events of Secret Wars, it was discovered that Magneto had recruited Fantomex to join his new squad of X-Men. Despite being a member of the team that included M, Sabretooth, and Psylocke, he continued to remain a secret spy, with half of the team unaware of his recruitment. When Psylocke heard that Fantomex had joined the squad, she was furious with Magneto. It eventually led to a fight between the two, during which an angry and upset Fantomex even attempted to murder Psylocke. Although he eventually left her alone when he realized that an even greater threat was fast approaching. What makes Fantomex so dangerous? By now, we've kind of already established that Fantomex can be a liar about his abilities as and when he sees fit, but he's known as quite a genius at misleading people. Fantomex has demonstrated several mental powers which also include the capacity to place himself into a phase of auto-hypnosis, which basically puts his body on autopilot so that he can do surgery and other delicate procedures on himself. He once showed this power by causing it in order to remove multiple bullets from his body. Fantomex also has a moderate healing element, but it lacks the ability to restore injured or destroyed body tissues such as the face or the heart. Now, let's talk about the EVA. Fantomex has an external nervous system whose name is EVA. He manufactured EVA through his mouth one day while still in the world when he lost his voice. She eventually grew and transformed into a flying saucer. Fantomex's principal external nervous system is EVA, which is capable of independent thought. So, Fantomex and EVA are linked and can share emotions with one another. EVA functions as an externalized picotech neuro-weapon system, capable of changing and transforming its shape and size. Coming from his mouth is the size of an apple and expanding to a gigantic mass the size of a swimming pool. Fantomex can also use EVA as a dischargeable artillery system, using her coils to grip and viciously attack their opponents while she is still inside his body. She can also emit a bioelectric discharge that sets the nervous systems of those impacted on fire. Fantomex can even use it to travel around as his mini saucer, which functions similarly to a hoverboard. She also acts as his medical support unit, allowing him to neuropsychologically cleanse his body of physical and mental diseases that might jeopardize his structural health. His second nervous system is present in his body, but it's not very developed. When he uses his secondary nervous system exclusively, he can only see in black and white. Apart from this, Fantomex has several other abilities that are enhanced beyond those of a normal individual. He possesses strength, speed, stamina, and agility that no one in the world can match. He's an excellent marksman, and he can employ this skill even while doing complex athletic stunts during a battle. He's also an expert in hand-to-hand combat. Fantomex has previously declared that he no longer has any scent. Due to this, even Wolverine has trouble tracking him down. The Pico technology installed in his body forbids him from believing in anything higher than himself or worshipping anything seen as almighty. This makes him an atheist. However, this works as a double-edged sword because he's unable to accept anyone being better at anything than him. It then forces him to go insane whenever anything contradicts that concept. Being a half-mutant and half-sentinel hybrid comes with its own uniqueness. And what is most surprising about Fantomex is that he actually has 3 brains. And that's not where it ends. He can even switch between his brains whenever he feels it necessary. He can also utilize them to perform certain tasks on their own. In the end, when EVA created 3 different bodies for his 3 brains, one of them successfully retained Fantomex's original personality, while another became a female assassin named Cluster, and the last one became an evil version of him named Weapon 13. He uses various types of weapons and equipment that help him during his fight against the enemy forces. Fantomex dresses in a carbon fiber polymer full bodysuit that serves as both his personal clothing and his battle gear. The ballistic armor he wears is both bulletproof and lightweight, which gives him near-perfect agility when out in the field. It also features many holsters for storing various weapons, equipment, and devices that he can use while working both as a thief and a mutant murdering assassin. The helmet he wears to conceal his identity is fitted with telepathy-blocking ceramics. This, combined with his misdirection abilities, allows him to avoid mental scanning by high-level psychics such as Jean Grey and Charles Xavier. For a thief, that definitely has to be extremely handy for him. Cluster's mask also includes goggles with infrared and night vision capabilities. Charlie Cluster is a skilled weaponeer with extensive knowledge of artillery and weaponry usage. He frequently employs a pair of portable firearms during battles. He also carries a variety of different weapons such as laser pistols, high-caliber assault rifles, rocket launchers, hand grenades, and so on. Fantomex owns a shrink ray that he stole from Dr. Doom, the reformed supervillain and Lord of Latveria. He used it to shrink the world in which he was created down to pocket size, which he did to take it with him everywhere he went. Insane versions of Fantomex in various forms of media. In one variant of the Days of Future Past timeline, which is titled Days of Future Now and featured in Frank Thierry's Weapon X series, Weapon X and the Sentinels are at war with Wolverine's X-Men and several other mutant factions, including Excelsior and Gene Nation. In this version of events, Fantomex has become the host of Sublime, and when infected by the sentient bacteria, he tries to sabotage Wolverine's efforts to destroy Weapon X. In the Here Comes Tomorrow plot, the whole world is dominated by Beast, who is possessed by Sublime. It takes place in an alternate reality 150 years into the future. Wolverine, Tito, Beak's grandson, Tom Skylark and his sentinel known as Rover, 3-in-1, the Stepford Cuckoos, No Girl and a reformed Cassandra Nova are the members of this era's X-Men, along with EVA. EVA has now taken on a humanoid shape but refuses to link with anybody else's nervous system after what happened to Fantomex. Whatever happened to Fantomex is never clearly addressed in the plot. However, it's heavily implied that Beast's U-Man follower, Apollyon the Destroyer, is truly Fantomex. Fantomex also makes a cameo in X-Men The End as part of X-23's dream, which was created by the Lady's mastermind, since she is said to be in love with him in this universe. In X-23's dream, they are seen together in their backyard, playing with their little daughter. Now, with that guys, we've come to the end of another riveting origin video with Marvelous Videos. We hope you enjoyed watching it, as much as we enjoyed making it for you. Make sure to drop a like and hit that subscribe button on your way out. Until then everyone, stay safe, take care, and see you in the next video. Hope you have a fantastic day.